And another year has gone in the books. And once again, before I get started, I'm going to say, I told you so. And I have every right to say it. Because even if I didn't tell you guys exactly how it was going to happen, it still happened last night. And you know what? I did tell you exactly how it was going to happen. Talking about the foreshadowing from the Academy Award predictions video, where I played Stereophonics, and I talked about Crash, and I talked about Ang Lee winning for Brokeback Mountain, and then Jack Nicholson coming out and surprisingly, except to me, presenting Crash as your best picture. And you know what? Last night, that's exactly what happened. Ang Lee won for Life of Pi, which was a very deserved Oscar that I was very happy that it happened. I was happy to be wrong in that case. And then right after that, Jack Nicholson walked up on stage and was getting ready to present Best Picture, just like in 2005. So I had a little deja vu moment. And then I knew right then and there, I looked at AJ and I was like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen tonight. There's even more reasoning it's going to happen. So that was awesome. But we'll talk about the Oscars in a second. First off, before I get started, I'm going to do a little put over here because I can. And I want to thank, actually, one of my new followers on Twitter and now on this YouTube channel, and that is the lovely and talented Juliet Danielle, who you guys would know as Lisa from The Room. If you haven't seen The Room, go watch The Room. The Room is amazing. The Room is amazing in a good way. The Room is amazing in a very so bad it's good way, but I enjoy the movie. I've seen it like 4 times. I sort of admit that. But still, she is a huge wrestling fan as well. And if you get a chance to check out her stuff, go check out her YouTube channel. Just search for her name on YouTube. And on top of that, she has a really awesome rant about the Divas division in WWE. And I did not know she was such a big wrestling fan. And that is so awesome. So go watch her Divas division rant. She has a lot of really valid comments and valid complaints about the Divas division. And it really makes you look at it in a whole different light. It's not just some normal YouTube video of some dumb fan that doesn't know what they're talking about. She actually has some really good points, and she makes a lot of good points through the duration of her 25-minute video. So, all my YouTube fans, go watch that as soon as you can, and then I won't say tell her I sent you, obviously, because she probably doesn't even know who I am, but when it comes down to it, I want to thank you guys for patronizing her YouTube page as well. Now that's out of the way. Let's talk Oscars. And look, you know what? Last night was a really awesome night that started off pretty bad. Now, truth be told, every year for the award shows, and I think I've mentioned it in a couple of videos, we do specific food. Like, for example, the Golden Globes equals the Golden Arches. And the Critics' Choice is, that's right, it's me and AJ's choice. We could choose whatever we want. For some reason, the Screen Actors Guild Awards has always been East of Chicago Pizza. It was very strange. And even more strange is the Independent Spirit Awards has always been KFC. But since 2000, I think it's 2008, I think we'll go back to that. It might be earlier than that. Well, it was earlier than that because when Crash won Best Picture, we were actually at B-Dubs. So, since 2008, we've been actually eating Buffalo Wild Wings. And it's probably earlier than that. I don't know much about dates. I forget a lot of things. But either way, we have been eating B-Dubs for many, many moons. And on Oscar night, that has been our regular. Now, even better than that, if you really want to talk about something that's happened in the past, the night of Oscar night that we actually got the back room at B-Dubs all to ourselves. We had food, we had soda, we had awesomeness. It was great. No one was there to bother us. It was an amazing, amazing situation. Of course, that was hooked up by a former B-Dubs manager by the name of Jeff, and Jeff is awesome. So, I don't know if he's still there, but go check him out at Arby's. I think he's still there, I'm not positive. But anyway, if you're watching this, Jeff, you're cool, and everyone knows it. Now, we've had B-Dubs forever and a day, and we always get boneless wings and fries, and that just didn't change this year. Except one year we actually got traditional wings. And I don't like bone-in wings I don't like boning anything, honestly. I can't eat T-bone steak. I can't eat fried chicken. However, fried chicken is a little easier to do than it is for wings. I don't know why. It's just how it works. So basically, like, I can eat fried chicken at the Hoop-Dee-Doo, and I have before. If anything, I just end up just pulling the skin off and not eating the meat. But that's just how it works. Now, so bone-in wings, and that happened one year, and we couldn't do anything about it because, I'll be honest, truth be told, the food was free. So can't really say anything. Fast forward to this year. So earlier on in the day, I'm shooting AJ's weekend movie review video, which I hope you guys to watch. And if you didn't get a chance to watch it, watch it. It's really good, actually. I'm not just saying it to put myself over or to put AJ over. I'm saying it because it's good. And, you know, AJ's weekend movie reviews need some more views on this YouTube channel. So if you're a movie buff or you're curious about things that you want to see that you haven't seen yet and you're like, I don't know, I'm on the fence, watch AJ's weekend movie reviews. And most of the time, it's exactly what I think about the same thing. And the same movie and the same topic. So, anyway, I was off on a rant there. But he shows up and he gets my debit card and takes it to his mom. And lo and behold, they go get our B-dubs for last night. Well, it didn't work. When we got the food, my Chipotle barbecue seasoning salt that I had paid $1.24 and was charged $1.24 wasn't there. And to top it all off, they weren't boneless wings. No. Once again, just like before, they were bone-in wings. And you know, that doesn't work for me. So, after a little bit of telephone tag, we figured out what the problem was. And eventually, AJ's mom showed up with the wings. And that was awesome, because we actually got real food. The only problem that I can see with this whole thing happening was the fact that this was happening as Seth MacFarlane was walking out on stage for his opening monologue. So I literally had to miss a couple jokes on that, and that sucked, but nothing I could do. I had to get the food. So, let's talk Oscars. First off, number one, I'm going to give props to Seth MacFarlane, because Seth MacFarlane I enjoyed personally as a host last night. I liked his interaction with William Shatner. I thought that worked really well. The opening musical numbers were awesome. I liked the integration of using the dancing talents of Channing Tatum. You guys can't forget, other than being an actor, Channing Tatum started out as a dancer. An exotic dancer nonetheless, but a dancer. That's the reason why Magic Mike works so well. But basically, he's a dancer, and that's something people completely forget about him. So him performing with Charlize Theron yesterday in the Dancing with the Stars steez of the entire program, I thought that was awesome. I thought it was really well done. And I very much enjoyed Seth MacFarlane's lounge singer voice, like I always do. And then when Joseph Gordon-Levitt came out with Dana Radcliffe, and they did some Soft Shoe. That was awesome. And I just enjoyed the opening completely. And of course, the opening song, We've Seen Your Boobs. That's hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. It wasn't too over the top. I know it ruffled a lot of feathers, and you could tell there was a lot of really unnerved celebrities sitting on their seats. And you could tell with the pans out from the camera. But honestly, I enjoyed Seth MacFarlane as a host. And I know I'm in the minority, but I enjoy David Letterman as a host, honestly. I think Billy Crystal is incredible, and I wouldn't mind seeing Billy Crystal be the host every single year. But if Crystal's not available, and I don't know why they would go to him every year, but honestly, Seth MacFarlane did an amazing job. The person I think it's time to see host the Oscars is Conan O'Brien. And you know, after he got kicked off NBC, well, basically forced out of NBC, ends up on TBS, I think that would have been a great time and a great part of Conan's life when he was like the most popular person in the world. Popular or most hated, depending on who you looked at. But he had a ginormous fan base, and they really could have played that up, and it would have got a lot of viewership if Conan hosted the Oscars that year. But I don't think the ship has sailed. I think Conan could definitely host the Oscars still. I think I'd like to see what Ricky Gervais would do at the Oscars. I think that would be a really interesting. There's a lot of people that could definitely host the Oscars. One people I don't think should ever host the Oscars would be Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, because I'm not that big of a fan of them, and it's not just personal bias. Amy Poehler, by and large, I don't think is very funny. She has her moments, but I think she's more forced than anything else. And I think Tina Fey is extremely overrated. And I'm, again, not just saying that for personal bias. I just think she's overrated. I don't think she's terrible. I don't think Amy's terrible. I think they're both good in their different ways. But I don't think that they're my cup of tea. So, I mean, that's just how I am, though. But honestly, Seth MacFarlane did a great job last night. I like the lounge singer voice that he puts out. I like the way he deals with things. He was a little over the top on a couple of things. I mean, not much more than what Ricky Gervais did at the Globes. So, I mean, anything's really possible with what you can do as a host of something as prestigious as the Oscars. And I really enjoyed him overall. I thought he did a really great job. Basically, like I said, I liked his interaction with everyone. I liked the fact he wasn't oversaturated. I personally like the fact that he was singing most of the time, because I think it works for him. I think that if this doesn't work out with Family Guy and American Dad and everything he's doing right now, I think it probably has a really good future of being on Broadway. Definitely going to be in a lounge in Vegas some year in about like 10 years. I guarantee that's going to happen. So it's just perfect. But I enjoyed myself. And right away, we get to the first award of the evening. And it's the award of the evening that me and AJ are on our seats about. And once again, now, I was predicting this for a long time. And I was thinking I might be wrong. But when he took the BAFTA after the Golden Globes, I was thinking he's got this sewn up. And I truly believe that if they would have sent out screeners for the SAGs, he would have won undecisively. The winner for Best Supporting Actor was Christoph Waltz. And you know what? This was Waltz's second Oscar. He won, of course, in 2009, so 3 years ago, for Inglourious Basterds, a tremendous portrayal of an amazing heel, Colonel Hans Landa. And Waltz wins again for his babyface portrayal of Dr. King Schultz in Django Unchained. And I thought it was awesome. And I called it, and I was like, no, I mean, anybody could win. I was thinking it was like anybody really could win, honestly. But Alan Arkin didn't really ride the Argo train, which was sad, because Alan Arkin's awesome. And everybody and their mother was talking about how it was going to be down to Robert De Niro and Jones, and I'm just like, well, first off, De Niro didn't win Jack, so I don't know what that came from. And Jones did win the SAG, but like I said a minute ago, Waltz wasn't nominated for the SAG, so if he were, I don't think there would have been that much idea in their eyes that anybody but Waltz could win. I think if the SAG screeners were sent out, I do think Waltz would have won the SAG without any question. So big win for Christoph Waltz to start off the night perfectly. That was awesome. I was very happy with that. AJ had his mind blown for like an hour and a half after that, and that was great because we couldn't wrap our head around the fact that Christoph Waltz now has 2 Oscars. That's awesome. So, I can't remember the order off the top of my head because this was a long night. I mean, it was over 3 hours. I mean, with the red carpet, which started at 7. The Oscars were over a little bit after midnight. That was when the final, I don't know what you want to call it, between Seth MacFarlane and the criminally overrated Kristen Chenoweth. Now, that's another thing I want to talk about, too. I'm going to talk about a lot of people in this video that I don't personally like. Kristen Chenoweth is one of them. I think she's annoying. People can be annoyingly cute. I can think of some people off the top of my head. Long. I can think of people off the top of my head that are annoyingly cute. I just think that Kristen Chenoweth is annoying. And it's not that she can't sing, because she can. It's just, I don't like her. I don't like her at all. I hate her personality. She's way too bubbly, and it's way too forced. I hate it very much. And I really wish someone else would have performed with Seth MacFarlane last night. But then again, given the fact that they performed over the very slow-moving credits of the Oscar ceremony, I didn't have too much of a problem with it. I did have a problem with her being on the red carpet. And one of the funnier moments of the evening was during the red carpet when Jamie Foxx was trying to pick up Kelly Rowland from Destiny's Child. That was really interesting. And, because Jamie Foxx he just wants women. That's just how it works. Jamie Foxx is awesome. And it's funny, it's really, you look at the portrayal of Django, he looked pretty much like he did back in the 90s when he was on A Living Color. Of course, it was a little bit more advanced, obviously, like the mustache had grown in and everything. But when you saw him tonight, you could definitely see his age. I mean, you really couldn't tell that the same person did the same performance because they looked very, very dissimilar. So, there was that. Now, let's talk about the awards real quick. I am absolutely horrible on the sounds, and I always have been. But I never believed. Well, first off, I never believed there would be a tie in any category at the Oscars, much less for sound. I mean, the Sound Editing Award had a tie. And I want to talk about that in a minute, but I want to bring it down one by one. First off, we're going to talk about the Bond montage. Well, first, I'm not a Bond fan. Not because I don't want to be, it's because I don't really know anything about Bond. I've never really watched a Bond movie outside of the Daniel Craig films. And like I said, I like Casino Royale. Quantum of Solace is absolutely god-awful, and Skyfall is overrated, but it's not bad. I've never seen a Pierce Brosnan Bond. I've never seen a Connery Bond. Never seen George Lazenby. That's for you, Ashley. I haven't seen Timothy Dalton. I haven't seen Roger Moore, and I really haven't seen Sean Connery. So I've never really seen another Bond performance. So, honestly, when it comes down to it, it's just kind of like, time for Rowan to just lull himself to sleep here. It was a okay performance, I guess. But, and then Shirley Bassey coming out for the performance of Goldfinger. I mean, that worked. And, I mean, it was alright. I mean, like, I looked at AJ, I was like, she must have been sultry back in her day, because those movements are not for someone her age. But that's just how it works. I mean, I like the song Goldfinger. We performed it, obviously, for the talent show, for the variety show, and my junior year of high school. Not junior year of high school, sophomore year of high school. There we go. Long time ago. Anyway. And that was interesting. We had a Bond medley there. And I was thinking they really missed the boat on being able to get the Bonds out to actually do anything. They didn't have any of them. They didn't really do anything. It was just like a nice, not very well put together montage that I really think that the Oscars should have looked into the WWE for their video, because WWE can make such amazing video packages. I think they would have made a great one for Bond. So, but there's always that. Now, another thing last night was the In Memoriam, which is amazing, as it always is. I like the fact that there was not an actual singer this year. That was really nice. Well, for the entire segment. And then because sometimes that detracts away from people watching the screen above them to memorialize the people that passed this year. And there were a lot of them, sadly. And it was a really sad moment this year. But I'll tell you what, it was really nice the fact that we could actually focus on the people's faces and the imagery above the screen instead of the person below the screen that is singing. And you know what? That was very well done. And the tribute to Marvin Hamlish, when Barbra Streisand sang The Way We Were, you know, I gave Barbra Streisand a whole lot of flack for The Guilt Trip, and like I said, I hate that movie, but Streisand can still sing, and she did a tremendous performance, and it was a very, very happy performance for Barbra Streisand. God knows how long it's been she's actually been on a stage, but she had tremendous stage presence, she can sing, and she did a very good job, and I was very happy to see it. Adele, okay, get it straight. I don't hate Adele. I don't. I think that Adele got too popular too fast. And I think that she pretty much, well, like Ashley told me this morning when we were talking on Skype, there's nothing she hasn't won. So, I mean, the only way you can go for when you go all the way to the top is down, and that's the problem. I enjoyed her performance of Skyfall. I think props to her for being able to do that, because I was reading the fact that she was extremely nervous about performing, and she got through it just fine. I mean, she hit all her notes, she hit all her marks. It worked really well. I mean, it was kind of a solemn performance, kind of like basically like the band wasn't really tuning out, but I mean, I don't think they were putting as much into it as they could have. I mean, it was It was a kind of a lull performance, but it was good. I enjoyed it. And I want to talk about the big performance in a minute. But basically, I don't know why, but they screwed Pi's Lullaby. And they screwed Scarlett Johansson for Before My Time, which was a song from Chasing Ice. Because I don't know why Johansson wasn't there. She might be working on another project, or she might have been sick. Anything's possible, really, but she wasn't there. I mean, she wasn't there with the Avengers, which was the most awkward segment of the evening. Because right now, if you really think about it, Hemsworth and Downey and Mark Ruffalo and Jeremy Renner and Sam Jackson all just seem so not wanting to be there. I mean, Jackson obviously wanted to be there. Downey was trying. Hemsworth barely talked, and Ruffalo just couldn't stop laughing because of it. I don't honestly think that these guys actually work well together, apparently, outside of the film. I mean, obviously, they work really well in the Avengers, and everybody wanted to see them and mark out for them, and I'm sure that brought a lot of viewership for the Oscars. But when it came down to it, honestly, they just kind of half-assed it, I'll be honest. And I like Downey talking about how the #1 movie of the year, which was The Avengers, box office-wise, got 1 nomination versus all the nominations for any of the 9 picture nominees. So that was a nice little chuckle. But basically, that was really interesting, and I want to talk about that. So Scarlett Johansson, of course, couldn't perform her song, so we actually had a very interesting performance that was done. Of course, they just basically played like a music video, pretty much what it was for Chasing Ice. And same with Pi's Lullaby, which sucked because I'd like to have seen that live. But on top of that, Everybody Needs a Best Friend from Ted was performed by Norah Jones. And you want to talk about going through the motions, Norah Jones was going through the motions. Honestly, Norah Jones is a belter. She can belt out the notes. Obviously, Norah Jones is a tremendous musical talent. And it's just like, she was wasted. And then she just walked out after the performance was over. And it's like, oh yeah, your winner is Adele. Everyone knew it was going to happen. So, there was that. Now, the big performance of the night, I know I'm going back and forth here. But the big performance of the night was the big Les Mis medley. Everyone was out. It was amazing. I mean, we started with Jackman, and then Anne Hathaway came out, and Eddie Redmayne and Amanda Seyfried came out, Samantha Barks came out, and of course, everything led to the doors parting, and here comes Russell Crowe, and the loudest mic of all time, and it's like, he's here to kick some ass. And he did. You know what? Once again, I'll put over Russell Crowe last night. I mean, he had to obviously take the night off at the lemon stand. But he basically showed up and he gave his all. And I'll tell you right now, and even Helena Bonham Carter, who I absolutely hate, when it came down to it, she did a great job, her and Sacha Baron Cohen. I really liked the medley that was performed. I thought everybody was on point. I thought everybody was in tune. I thought everybody was giving their absolute A game. And it made me think a couple things. Number one, for the fans of Les Miserables, I think that they were very happy because this is what they wanted the movie to be. And you know, I think if you get that entire cast together and put them on Broadway, I know it's going to be really, really hard due to everyone's schedules, but even a one-off, I think that would make a lot of money. I think if you put that cast on Broadway, doing Les Miserables, I think it would work really, really well. Another thing on top of that, too, it was a big screw you to Joe Wright, because, of course, Joe Wright did Anna Karenina in the same exact manner. The whole movie took place on a stage, which was awesome, but Les Mis, their medley act at the Oscars, made it work a whole lot better. And it was awesome to see everyone on point, on the top of their notes, hitting everything absolutely perfectly to a T. And it was incredible. I thought it was really well done. I like the French flag thrown out there. The only thing missing from that would be Seth MacFarlane clapping. And he's like, yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, Toby Keith. So, America, yeah. So, I mean, whatever. But anyway, it was awesome. So, I want to talk the shorts. Like I said, once again, the live action and the documentary shorts I did not get to watch. I did watch some trailers, didn't watch all trailers. I watched trailers for one, and that's how I chose what I wanted to vote for. Now we're talking about Best Documentary Short. It did go to Innocente, which apparently it is Innocente. I thought it was Innocent, and they just spelled it wrong. For sake of the fact that, like of course in the UK, you have it called Untouchable, and here in the US, it's called The Untouchables, so it could work either way. But basically, right now, I got that right. Innocente did win, and that was awesome. And live action short ended up going to Curfew, which was the most interesting sounding of the group, and I thought it was very well won. I was very happy that Disney Connect collected another, finally, animated short for Paperman. I was very happy with that. Paperman's amazing. But I'll tell you what, if you haven't seen any of the animated shorts this year, go out, do yourself a favor, and go watch them. I'm gonna read you those right now. Honestly, Head Over Heels is amazing, so go watch that. And talk about Fresh Guacamole. Really interesting, and it's like less than 3 minutes long, so 2.5 minutes actually, to be totally honest. But it's entertaining, and I'll tell you right now, I didn't mind Maggie Simpson, The Longest Daycare. It was okay. It was a decent one. I love Paperman. Adam and Dog is awesome, too. And, of course, Adam and Dog, as well as Head Over Heels, were both done. I gotta make sure I got this right before I do anything. I gotta go back to my notes here. Yep, Adam and Dog and Paperman. Adam and Dog and Head Over Heels are both done by Minkyu Lee, who also works for Disney. So, we're gonna win either way, regardless, basically. So, it was a big win for the company. And another thing, too, if you want to have some time, or if you don't have some time and you just want to take the time, some really awesome and animated shorts from the Oscar history that are incredible. I want you to talk about those real quick. Actually, I'm going to go to Wiki so I can see if I'm missing any ones real quick. But the animated short category is really awesome every year. And basically, there's a lot of gems that most people completely miss out on. And that's a shame, because honestly, they're really, really good. Awesome. So, if you get some time, like I said, I want you to check out a lot of really awesome shorts. Excuse me. And we're going to go back to the 90s here, because I'm going to start with the... We'll start with the 2000s, actually. Some really awesome animated shorts that most people probably never saw. 2008 was awesome. 2008 was great because 2008 had some really amazing ones. Some good stuff. Lavatory Love Story. Presto was the Disney one from that year. We had Octopotty. And, of course, the amazing This Way Up. And incredible. Absolutely amazing. This Way Up is literally one of the best shorts I've ever seen in my life. 2009 brought us Logorama, which was the shocking winner that I was very happy to say I predicted. Lady and the Reaper, which is absolutely hilarious. French Roast, and Grania Grimm's Sleeping Beauty. 2010 brought us, of course, Pixar's Day and Night, which is amazing. And if you haven't seen, go watch The Gruffalo. The Gruffalo is awesome. And 2011, of course, was La Luna, which La Luna was amazing. And the Fantastic Flying Books of Mr. Morris Lesmore, which was the winner, and I really enjoyed it. So, that was awesome for Best Short. I really enjoyed that. Now, the sounds, like I said, we talked about those a minute ago. I actually got one. I got mixing correct with Les Mis winning, and sound editing, of course, went to... well, first, Marky Mark and Ted, yes, Ted, came out to present the award. And some interesting and very unsettling banner that I kind of laughed a little bit about. I shouldn't have. They presented the award, and they presented Les Mis, and they basically said, we have a tie. And everybody, like, gasped, like it's like the craziest thing in the world. Now, if there was going to be a tie, I wouldn't think it'd be in a sound category, especially on sound editing. But there was, and they gave the first award to Skyfall. And I was like, yeah, okay, I didn't predict that, so that's a loss. And I was thinking, okay, fine, come on, give it to me. Give me Life of Pi. And Zero Dark 30. And I was like, what the hell just happened? I have another really surprise moment of the night. I'll talk about that in a minute. Original score went to Life of Pi. Absolutely incredible, amazing. And the fact that you're not voting for the person, you're voting for their movie. So I think that really messed over people voting for John Williams for Lincoln, or Roger Deakins for Skyfall, or Newman for Lincoln. So, I mean, that's pretty much how it works. I think Newman did Lincoln. I'm not exactly positive off the top of my head. So, I forget it. I'll look real quick. I don't remember what he ran for. Okay, maybe not. Alright, that's fine. Oscar winners list. Newman was Skyfall, sorry. Deakins was Skyfall, Newman was Skyfall. Yeah, sorry. But I don't care enough about Skyfall to really worry about it. Now, costumes went very predictably to Anna Karenina, which is the only award it legitimately should have won, and it did. Now, makeup and hair ended up going to Les Mis, and you know, the funny thing is when I saw this, you look at it as best makeup could go to The Hobbit, or best makeup could go to Hitchcock. But you throw in the added and hairstyling. So, The Hobbit had makeup, not hair. And Hitchcock had makeup. Really not hair. Les Mis had both, so I went with it. And I was right, and that was awesome. Now, production design, which of course is the newly themed art direction. I guess it sounds better than art direction. Production design ended up going to Lincoln. And it's not really an upset, but it's shocking, actually, that Anna Karenina didn't win. Or Les Mis didn't win. I mean, Lincoln won. That was really interesting. So that was really bizarre. Editing, I was on the edge of my seat when William Goldenberg's name was announced, because he actually did both editing for Argo and Zero Dark 30, so I didn't know what they were giving it to. But I breathed a sigh of relief when Argo was announced as editing. I was like, yes, this is awesome. That means the train will start now. So, of course, that ended up happening, so just like I said it would. Cinematography did go to Life of Pi, very deserved award, and I was very happy with that. Documentary ended up going to Searching for Sugar Man, which I told Adrian not to doubt it, and I said it in the Spirit Awards video, and it held true. How to Survive a Plague actually did not win anything this week, which I was really shocked about that, to be honest, because really surprised that Spirit Awards went for The Invisible War, because they did. I think that it was a big win for Sugar Man. I was very happy that it won. I thought it was an amazing film. I didn't think it was a great documentary. Just being that, I thought it was a great movie and something everyone needs to watch. So if you get a chance to watch it, go watch Searching for Sugar Man. And while you're at it, go watch Man on Wire, because Man on Wire is awesome too. But there's a lot of great documentaries out there. A lot of great documentaries most people missed out on. And actually, you know what? While I'm here, I think I'm going to tell you about some of those real quick. We're going to talk about the best documentaries at the Oscars this year. Not this year, but the previous years. There's some really good stuff. Best documentary. Where are you? Here we are. Wikipedia is your friend, folks. It really is. Wikipedia is your friend, and YouTube is your best friend. So, I mean, that's how it works. Movies that have won documentary that are absolutely incredible that you need to check out as soon as possible. Not even movies that just won. Movies that are good. We'll get to the 2000s, because obviously most people haven't seen it. If you haven't seen Bowling for Columbine, or any of the Michael Moore documentaries, I mean, if you haven't seen Bowling for Columbine, or Fahrenheit 9/11, or Sicko, I mean, if you haven't seen any of those, I mean, they're all good in different ways. Some great documentaries. I mean, Super Size Me. I mean, it killed McDonald's Super Size Fries for me, but wow, long day. Super Size Me was amazing. Morgan Spurlock is a great film director, and he also did another documentary called The Palm Wonderful, presented the greatest film ever sold, and it was really good as well. And given the fact that I have a new affinity for pomegranate juice, and well, of course when it's collected with something, when it's mixed with things. I like pomegranate juice, obviously. I like it as a mixer and not exactly by itself. But that was really cool as well. Another thing, too, Beyond the Mat, which is amazing. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, Beyond the Mat is absolutely wonderful. Like I said, I talk about Sicko. Man on Wire is amazing. And it's very disturbing, but it's a well-made documentary. It's called The Cove, and it was the winner in 2009. Another movie really good, actually, was Food Incorporated in 2009 as well. 2010 was actually a really good documentary about, well, actually a documentary about fracking and about, if you watch Promised Land, it's a good companion piece to Promised Land. If you watch Promised Land, watch Gasland. Gasland is good. And the best documentary of the year, obviously, even though it didn't win the Oscar and it lost to the criminally overrated Inside Job, Exit the Gift Shop. So go watch Exit the Gift Shop. It's amazing. Last year, if you get a chance to watch any of the Paradise Lost, the HBO documentaries on the West Memphis 3, go watch those. And then on top of that, in turn, once you watch the Paradise Lost movies, go watch West of Memphis. West of Memphis came out this year. It's awesome as well. So there's a lot of really awesome documentaries. I like The Invisible War. I thought it was really well done. And How to Survive a Plague is pretty good as well. So those are documentaries that you should check out, honestly. They're really good. Another movie that got nominated for documentary this year, which actually is called Ball Player. And check that out if you get a chance to. It's actually really good. And Shut Up and Play the Hits is really good from this year too. So these are things that I liked from 2012 for documentaries. But I just wanted to talk about those a couple bit for a minute. Foreign language film went undeservingly to Amour. Yeah, that shouldn't have happened. Amour is absolutely terrible, and I really wish more people would realize that. Let's talk about that real quick. Well, first off, God, I just hate it so. I hate it so much. I hate it so much. I want to talk about good foreign films that have won before. Let's talk about those real quick, actually. Good foreign films. Good foreign films throughout the years. And it's good winners, I guess, in this case, because I don't really have good foreign films listed. We'll go to the 90s. Okay. Movies you probably have never heard of before. God, I don't really have any good ones. Waltz with Bashir is really good. It's like stop animation, kind of like Scanner Darkly, and it works really well, like Waltz with Bashir. And I like The White Ribbon, and that's before I knew how much of an absolute goof Michael Haneke was. But it was alright. Dogtooth is really interesting. It's really twisted, too. I mean, it's Greek. I mean, check that out. Javier Bardem's beautiful. Talk about that. That's a possibility for something you could watch. The winner last year was A Separation, which I thought was overrated, but, I mean, some people like it, so I don't know. But animated. Oh, good God. Animated went to Brave, and, you know, honestly, I'm kind of shocked. I thought with the 5 Annie Awards, I thought that Wreck-It Ralph would be over, and it wasn't. And I don't have as much problem with Brave winning as AJ does, obviously, because Brave is absolutely hated by AJ, 100%. But I liked it overall. I mean, I have a top 5 for this year. It's on there. It's number 5, actually, so it's not the best I've seen this year, but it's not the worst. I mean, then again, there's only 5, so I guess that makes it the worst by default. But anyway, I wanted Wreck-It Ralph to win. I think it should have won. I don't have a problem with Brave winning, but like I said, and I told AJ, and the only thing I'm going to stick with this, Brave winning is a win for the company, and that's all that matters. So, I don't know if I've told you guys that before or not, but when it comes down to it, if every single goof in the world that likes sports can say, my team's going all the way and we're going to win this Sunday, then I can say that about Disney, and I do. So there. So there's always that. Now, animated has had a lot of interesting wins in the past. And we talked about that on the Oscar video, so go back if you want to check that out. You're more than welcome to. And then we start getting nervous here. Best adapted screenplay. I was starting to get worried there. I really was. But Chris Terrio pulled it out, and Argo wins. And I was very happy with that. Very, very happy with that. So AJ was predicting Silver Linings Playbook for director, picture, and screenplay. And it lost screenplay. So it was kind of like, okay, this may be the beginning of the end for Silver Linings Playbook. Excuse me. Except for Jennifer Lawrence, because I knew she was going to win, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Best original. So I had my heart attack, we were fine. And Argo wins, and I marked out, and it was great. Now, original screenplay. So, AJ goes out on a limb and predicts Michael Haneke, just because of the fact that everything's going down the way it has. It's legitimately possible he could win. I didn't want that to happen, and I didn't think it was going to happen, but it was a legitimate possibility. That also being Mark Boal would win for Zero Dark 30, thus defeating Quentin Tarantino 2 times in a row. Not in a row, but 2 times they face each other in a row. Those times he'd lose. Well, thankfully, that didn't happen. And I was proven correct. Once again, because Quentin Tarantino won Best Original Screenplay for Django Unchained. So Django won 2 last night. And that was awesome because Amour only won 1. And Django won 2. And that was great. So Django is like numbers-wise better than everything. Well, it's better anyway because it's the best movie of the year. But still, it was awesome to see Tarantino win. And you know what? It was funny. It's another thing I want to mention too. In the past, when people are orchestrated off the stage, I know this isn't what it is, obviously, and I've known always this isn't what it is, but for me, that's what it sounds like, and it's a joke that's just kind of stuck. I call it being Jurassic Parked. The music sounds like the Jurassic Park theme. So, well, it did before. And it was really interesting because they started using Jaws. They're using the Jaws theme. Well, when Pi won for visual effects, they went up to present the award, and they were talking, and they were trying to present the award, and they basically said at the beginning of it that everything you're seeing is a work, and visual effects are lacking nowadays, and just a political statement about visual effects. And all of a sudden, the Jaws music would start, and it would get increasingly louder by the second. And it started to get loud and louder and louder. And this guy kept talking. He was trying to get his point across. And at the very last second, they just cut his mic. And it's funny because right at that moment, we cut a camera shot to Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban sitting in the audience. And Nicole Kidman was like, "Aww." I was like, wow, you got screwed. I talk about people being Jawsed off the screen. I guess it's going to be called Jaws now because Jurassic Park doesn't work anymore because they're using the Jaws theme. Which is interesting because there was a lot of Spielberg music that was interspersed throughout the entire night. I mean, back from break, when you're going to break, there were a lot of Spielberg themes that were actually used. Now, the funny thing about that is that would be setting up foreshadowing that they're going to give Best Director to Steven Spielberg, which is what most of them people in the world thought was going to happen. Luckily, I didn't, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So, but I bring up the jawsing of people because of one spectacular fact. Think about this. People were getting jawsed off the screen, and when they were getting jawsed off the screen, they all just stood there and took it, honestly. Except for one man. Yes, that's right. Quentin Tarantino is the only person that they could not Jaws off the screen. They started the music, and Tarantino literally came back and said, hold on 1 second. I got one more thing to say. I know you're trying to get rid of me. One more thing to say. They stopped the Jawsing of Quentin Tarantino. That makes Tarantino absolutely awesome. Even more than he absolutely was, and I don't know if that was possible. But when it came down to it, he literally could not be Jawsed off the stage, and that was great. That's the reason why Quentin Tarantino cannot be Jawsed off the stage, because he's absolutely awesome. But that was great. I was very happy to see that happen. It was a very deserved win for Tarantino, and it's about time he beat Mark Boal. I mean, paybacks from Bastards versus The Hurt Locker, so that was awesome. And now we're going to talk Best Director. Now, like I said, I mentioned in the Crash review from the beginning of the Oscar predictions video. Brought up Stereophonics, brought up the fact that Ang Lee won for Brokeback instead of Paul Haggis for Crash. And everybody knew that Ang Lee was going to win. And you know, honestly, I should have known. I really should have. Because I went with David O. Russell. I'll be totally honest. I went with David O. Russell because AJ drilled it into my head that Silver Linings was going to do something. He didn't get me to ever change my prediction for Argo, for picture, but still, he got in my head that Silver Linings could win screenplay and director. And I was thinking to myself, number one, it's not going to win screenplay because Terry's going to win. And number two, why don't you just give it director? I have no problem with that. Russell should have won for The Fighter anyway, so you might as well just give him director. Well, that was not to be. And everybody in the world thought that Steven Spielberg was going to win. That was not to be. Thankfully, Michael Haneke didn't win. Thank God that was not to be. And Ben Zeitlin didn't win. That also wasn't meant to be. So everyone, one by one, eliminated themselves from the picture. And one man was left standing. Just like in 2005. Ang Lee for Life of Pi. And you know what? I love Life of Pi. Life of Pi is incredible. And like I said, in another year, Life of Pi would have won Best Picture. And it was great. I liked it a whole lot more than I thought I was going to. I even bumped something else off my top 5 so I could put... Actually, no, I had to change it because I only have 5. But it's on my top 10 for the year. So, we'll talk about that in a minute. Actually, I will discuss that eventually down the road. AJ and I are doing something this year that's a little interesting. What we're doing is we're actually going into the annals of history, and we're doing the Big 8. The Big 8 categories for all the Oscar years that we wanted to win, obviously. Our wins and who ran for them. And we're only doing 5 for each category, so it makes it really prestigious and really crazy. But of course, by 5, I mean, let's see if I can remember this. So, it's picture, it's director, it's adapted screenplay, it's original screenplay. It's best actress, it's best actor, it's best supporting actor, and best supporting actress. So that's 8 right there. And you know, if there's a way to do it some of the years, I'm going to do best animated and best documentary. If I can. It's not going to be that easy. There'll be a lot of Michael Moore on that list. That's just how it works. And a lot of Disney. A whole lot of Disney. But, big win for Ang Lee. And you know, I don't have a problem being wrong on that. There's 25 awards last night. And that were presented. And the funny thing is, I got 20 of them. So, I missed 5. I didn't pick Brave. Obviously, the sound split, I didn't get that right. Lincoln for art direction. Ang Lee for director, which totally shocked me. And am I missing something, or am I wrong on this? Hold on. What did I miss? Excuse me. Let me look at. I'm looking at my list here. Sorry, it's right in front of me. So, I missed on sound editing. Okay. I missed on production design. Okay. I missed on animated. Okay. And I missed on director. That's 4. Okay. So is there 24? I think there's 24. Either way, I think I'm 20 and 24. That might be right. I think there was 24. Let me... God. I'm a completist. We're going to count these real quick. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 22, 23. Okay, that's not right. 1. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's 16 in animated. 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 24. Okay, 24. So I'm 20 out of 24. That's pretty good odds. And I did really well. So, congratulations to Ang Lee. I'm very happy he won. It was really deserved. I really like Life of Pi. I like it even more every time I watch it. Best Supporting Actress, even... It was funny because when they were doing the segment with Seth MacFarlane and Shatner at the very beginning, they actually were going... They had one segment where basically Seth MacFarlane was dressed up as the Flying Nun and was trying to accost Sally Field. And she's like, I need to go out there, it's no problem. It's like, and he literally said, that doesn't matter, Anne Hathaway's going to win anyway, so it's okay. So, That was funny. And she was like, yeah, you're right, Anne Hathaway's gonna win. And everyone knew Anne Hathaway was gonna win. There was no way she was losing Best Supporting Actress, and she deserved it 100%. She had a great, I'll say that numerous times just for alliteration, great showing in Les Miserables, and she deserved to win, and I'm glad she did. Yeah. Now, so, big win for Anne Hathaway. Everybody that was nominated in the performance, they all were phenomenal, and they deserve to be there. Very surprised Jackie Weaver got in for Silver Linings Playbook. That obviously proves that the Oscars really liked SLP, and it deserved to get anything it was nominated for. And it did, because Silver Linings Playbook's an amazing film. But, sorry, I'm just getting everything ready for my deep frying for the day. This is the closest you're getting to me actually deep frying on camera, because I don't have a way to hold it. But as soon as I have someone that can actually hold the camera, I'll deep fry on camera for you guys, sorry. I know AJ wants to see it. But either way, she won, and that was awesome. I was very happy with that. Anne Hathaway wins in a very non-surprising victory. And then after that, of course, we got a Best Actress. And I was trying to tell AJ that the groundswell for Reva was done. I mean, obviously, Amore took a lot of Caesar Awards. It took 5, I believe. And, of course, that doesn't really have to do anything with the Oscars, just like the Spirit Awards don't. So, it didn't really pan out that way. But when it all came down to it, Jennifer Lawrence did win for Silver Linings Playbook for Best Actress. And I was very happy with that, because I predicted it. Not necessarily from day one, but I did predict it. Because I was kind of wavering with that in Chastain, but I always pretty much had Jennifer Lawrence in the back of my mind. I'm pretty sure all my predictions always said Jennifer Lawrence, so I'm very happy she won the Oscar. She deserved it. And it sucked because it's the second time this year she's had problems. She had a wardrobe malfunction at the Golden Globes. No, the SAGs. Long day. She had a wardrobe malfunction at the Screen Actors Guild Awards. And then last night, of course, she tripped going up the steps at the Oscars. But, I mean, she's excited. She's happy to win. I mean, I can understand not seeing that last step or the first step. I mean, it's possible. So, I don't know if I can make it up stage. Maybe someday we'll find out. But Best Actor ended up going to Daniel Day-Lewis, and he was presented by Meryl Streep, and that was really cool. We got a great moment. Of course, they had a nice little banter back and forth that Meryl Streep was supposed to play Lincoln, and that would mean Daniel Day-Lewis was supposed to play the Iron Lady, and then they switched. I thought that was funny, and really well done. Daniel Day-Lewis, a brilliant actor, and won his 3rd Best Actor Oscar last night, and that's an amazing thing for him, like an amazing accolade for Daniel Day-Lewis. Daniel Day-Lewis is an amazing actor anyway. And another thing, too, sadly, he didn't really have any competition, honestly. I mean, Jackman was really his only competition, and Jackman only won at the Globes. And he only won at the Globes because they did the half and half. They did, of course, the drama and comedy split up at the Globes. So that's the only reason Jackman won, which sucks, because Jackman's awesome. And actually, I want to talk another person real quick soon that also joined a really awesome list last night. Now, we're running long. I mean, we're running really long at this point. And Nicholson comes out to present Best Picture. I mentioned that already. And I was thinking, Ang Lee just won Director. I'm gonna go over this again. Ang Lee just won Director. Nicholson is presenting Picture. 2005? So, let's talk about this real quick. So, alright. Now we're talking Oscars real quick for, where are you? Supporting Actor, Writing, Director. Now, George Clooney is awesome. And of course, everyone and people that don't know any better, he is a exec producer on Argo, along with Grant Heslov. They basically, Clooney is awesome, and he's great in everything he does. I mean, he won supporting actor, and of course, he won last night for Argo. He needs to win for directing, and he needs to win for writing now. So then, George Clooney will put his name cemented in Oscar history. And I know it could happen, I know it will happen. But, like I said, it was like really shocking when Nicholson was about to present, and he basically was saying that usually Best Picture is done by themselves. Wow, really bad wording there. Usually Best Picture is presented just with one person, and basically they're talking about Nicholson not wanting to make any jokes or say the wrong things. And then all of a sudden, he introduced Michelle Obama. Actually, our First Lady does the actual presentation for Best Picture. It was really funny because the people that were behind her, and I paid attention to this, it was really funny to watch. There was this one girl that was on the far end, and she kept, like, lifting up on the balls of her feet, and she kept, like, smiling, and no one else would smile, so I think she probably got, like, beaten after this was over, because... But I don't know, probably not. But I mean, still, I think it's funny that she just kept doing that, and she was the only one that didn't keep a straight face the whole time that Michelle was presenting Best Picture. So, I don't know why Nicholson had an envelope. Maybe it was just to throw people off. I think that might be it, exactly. But that was really big, and like I said, all of a sudden, 9 nominees were announced, and the next thing you know, Argo wins Best Picture, just like I said all along. So... more bragging rights, and I'm very happy with that. So the Oscars are over, and another award season is in the books, and we don't have to worry about anything until the end of the year. We're just going to be watching movies, and hopefully we'll figure out what happens down the road. We don't know if we're actually going to see the movie that's going to sweep this year, or the movie that's going to be the big breakout film. Who knows what's going to happen. And of course there's the stuff that happened with Sundance, and the movies that came out at TIFF. I mean, just a lot of films we're going to have to keep watch on that may or may not do anything come award season next year. So, award season was awesome, and it was great. I had a really great time this year, and it was a really up-in-the-air award season, honestly, when it comes down to it. There was a lot of really awesome surprises. There was a lot of undeserved nominations. There was a lot of really mind-boggling snubs this year. And when it was all said and done, the movie I wanted to win Best Picture actually did. So that was a big, big Oscar year. I'm very happy with that. And so the Oscars are over. So there's only one thing left now. Let's actually talk about it. And now the Oscars are over, and we're leading to one more thing. Starting this Sunday, the night of the WDW Today live podcast for February. Thank you, Matt, for scheduling it for not Oscar night and not a pay-per-view night, so I can actually be there and not worry about not being there. Let's talk about it. Starting this Sunday, once again, The Celebrity Apprentice. And I'm going to be doing Celebrity Apprentice updates on Monday mornings from now on. Starting next week, let's talk about the Celebrity Apprentice cast. A very nice plethora of talent. People that are in the Celebrity Apprentice this year. We have Trace Adkins. We have Stephen Baldwin. Gary Busey. Mary Lou Henner. LaToya Jackson. Lil Jon. Claudia Jordan, whoever the heck that is. Omarosa. Bret Michaels. Lisa Rinna. Brandy Roderick. Dee Snider. Dennis Rodman. And of course my personal pick, for a lot of reasons, Penn Jillette, who will win Celebrity Apprentice this year, beating Bret Michaels in the final. And that is my prediction. But we'll see what happens with Celebrity Apprentice this year, what kind of craziness goes on if Gary Busey loses his mind, or what inane things that he says from day to day. And I think it's going to be a really awesome, really cutthroat year, and I think it's going to be great for all of us, actually, because it's going to be really enjoyable television. So, got that done. Like I said, plus and minus is over. I hope you guys enjoyed the Magic Kingdom video and the addendum I put in about New Fantasyland yesterday in the AJ Weekend Movie Reviews video. Tomorrow, of course, I'll be reviewing Monday Night Raw, and spoiler alert, The Undertaker returns tonight. So, that's going to happen. I don't know exactly how it's going to happen. Is he going to cost Punk the match? Is he going to stop the Shield? Is he going to go after Wade Barrett? I mean, there's a lot of things, a lot of questions. But like Will said, it's good to just know that The Undertaker will be at WrestleMania this year. After all of the talk that was had that he wasn't going to show up, it's going to happen now. So, the match in Waco, Texas, they did with Undertaker and Sheamus against Wade Barrett and Damien Sandow. It was basically just to test out, see if Taker's shoulder could go. And after he proven that it could, Taker's on for Mania. So that's going to happen. And of course, we're going to see an altercation tonight with Paul Heyman and Vince McMahon. They're going to fight, which of course is probably going to lead up to our first indication we're getting Triple H and Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania this year. And so many questions to be answered. So, I mean, I think after tonight, it's a good possibility Punk could make it a three-way. It's very possible. Or, like I said, we could get Punk and The Undertaker. There's so many directions you could go. But, once again, I'm going to get off here. I'm going to have some lunch. I'm going to listen to some podcasts, because I got a couple still to listen to. And tonight, Raw, of course, at my house. I don't know if Will's going to be joining me or not. That is up in the air right now. It may happen, it may not. Tomorrow, we'll return to B-Dubs. Wednesday will be at B-Dubs. Thursday will be at B-Dubs, of course, as we do. And then Friday, Jack, the Giant Slayer, at Regal, among other things. So, we're going to talk about that. That and The Last Exorcism, too. And I can't remember off the top of my head what the third one is. So, anyway, there's 3 movies to come next week. So, that's going to be 21 and Over, which looks terrible. Because I absolutely hate The Hangover. So, anyway, it doesn't look funny at all. And it's going to bring in the LCD, and I never like that. But I'm going to get off here. Once again, thank you for watching. And if you've stumbled upon this YouTube channel by accident, by mistake, thank you for being here, and I hope you guys enjoy the ride. I'm going to be talking a lot more Celebrity Apprentice in the next couple of months, obviously. We're going to be talking a lot more Disney. We're going to be talking a lot more wrestling, and a whole lot more movies. And I got new segments still to come on the YouTube channel. AJ's, of course, Weekend Movie Reviews. I got Will's segment coming up in the near future. Don't know if that'll be a regular segment or just be a bi-weekly segment. Either one that'll happen. So, until tomorrow, that's all I got to say about that. Oh, wait a minute. Argo F yourself. Best Picture winner, you know it. That's all I got to say about that.